I finally got to see Black Adam for free, and it sucked. Another shitty DC movie. Another shitty. Can't even say that anymore because even the Marvel movies are shitty. So just another shitty movie came out. I'm probably, if I make it to 50 years old, I'll probably still be watching comic book movies just because I've read them for so long and interacted with these stories for such a long time that I just like seeing them on the big screen if I can, if they're decent. Well, not the big screen anymore, just my television screen. But this was another one that sucked. When I heard Black Adam was coming out and The Rock was playing him, I was like, well, obviously this is gonna suck. Don't want to really waste my time. Then I actually saw the first or one of the trailers. I saw one of the trailers and I was like, oh, this actually probably gonna be kind of nice. This might be pretty good. The character, I was like, Dr. Fate's gonna be in it. They got Hawkman in it. They made him black for some reason. Again, I don't know why, but I was like, oh well, whatever. I'm not gonna pay to see it, obviously, but when I can see it for free, I might enjoy it. These different characters being thrown in there, and then the movie came out and people were panning it, and I was like, damn, another one. I thought this one was gonna be pretty good, so I waited for it to come out for free. It came out free today. Not well, free for me. It came out on HBO Max, HBO Go, one of the HBO streaming things that I don't have to pay for, so I get to watch it for free. It came out today, so I watched it, and god damn, I felt like I was watching an action movie from like 2002 or 2001. The action sequences weren't bad. I will say that The Rock was the perfect choice for Black Adam. There was nothing wrong with his performance. I thought he did great. He's imposing. He looks dangerous. He looks like a villain. But they decided not to go that route. They decided not to really make him a villain. And I don't. I don't care anymore. I really don't give a fuck. These people keep making these stupid decisions where they take these actual big, well-known villains and they're turning them into heroes. I don't get that. They don't. I mean, it don't they. Wouldn't logic dictate that they at least follow the pattern that are set by more famous or more popular things? So the Joker movie that starred Joaquin Phoenix, or as I like to call him, Joaquin. That I didn't really care for that movie. I didn't really have any interest in that movie. I only watched it once, and it wasn't a horrible movie, but it wasn't really relevant to me. It didn't have anything to do with Batman. Batman wasn't connected. So it was a stupid movie to me. That was a stupid, shitty movie. But with that being said, everybody else loved it. And it made all this money and all this stuff. And people really fell in love with this story. And the Joker, they didn't make him into a hero. They kept him as a villain. So at least, why don't you follow that track? I mean, why don't they follow at least the track records of things that are actually successful? Instead of following things that are failing. Venom comes out and it's they're turning this well-known, unbelievably popular villain into a hero, and that failed. Morbius came out and that again turning another villain into a hero, and that failed. And it didn't just fail because of that, but why follow in their steps? Just make Black Adam a villain. He would have been a cool villain to a better Captain Marvel. I didn't like that guy that played Captain Marvel. The Captain Marvel movie was stupid. The trailer for the sequel looks like complete shit. That looks like complete. I won't even watch that for free. So I wish they didn't pick that guy for Captain Marvel, but I guess whatever. If things were still going in that direction, it would have had a kick-ass Black Adam versus Captain Marvel movie. don't need to make him into a hero. Now how's that gonna work? He's gonna come in and he's gonna have like they were planning on having a Black Adam series where he fights it, and then let me talk about what I like to talk about the most. What I enjoy talking about, which is the only reason why I make most of these negative videos. Because when a good movie comes out, I don't really waste time making videos on it because nobody watches these videos and I don't get paid for this. I really just do this for fun. It's kind of therapeutic, to be able to vent, I guess, to myself, really, because I'm just talking to myself. I'm actually looking at my own reflection in the computer screen that's off. So really, I'm literally talking to myself. But this is kind of therapeutic to talk about these bad movies. So I like to talk about them most. That's why I don't talk about the good ones. But the thing I like to talk about the most is the bad writing in these stories, because it's unfathomable that you have this many people out here that can't write a competent story, that can't use logic and they can't use their brains. And then you also have all these production companies, million dollar companies, that keep hiring these same types of fucking writers for these stories. So is Black Adam separate from the story, or is he not? Because Superman shows up at the end, so they were expecting it. We all know now that part of DC is dead. Let's hold on. Yay! Yay! Get rid of that shit. That part of that DC is dead, so now they're going to reboot again immediately. But before that decision came out, they were obviously planning on mixing this Black Adam into that DC universe, I guess, which has two different Batmen, Robert Pattinson and Ben Affleck. These people are they're fuck-ups. God damn. $1 million making fuck-ups. But they planned on introducing Black Adam into this universe, which means that this universe is tied into the other universe. So that brings up a lot of questions. The Eternium weapon. So, and I'm going into this with the idea that everything that happened in this movie happened within the universe where Henry Cavill, Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and all those people are the actual heroes in the universe, in that galaxy, right? And that we're on planet Earth. They're all on planet Earth. So if they're all together, how come these Eternium weapons, which are like magic weapons, these are like unbelievable. One of the weapons was following at the speed of light because Black Adam was having a hard time catching up to it, and he has super speed. So the weapon is not only fast enough, the device that's using this magical vibranium adamantium stuff is magical enough to make a device move at the speed of light without just breaking up the device. Obviously, you move something at the speed of light, it crumbles, the pieces will break off. But it can withstand that force, and it can move at that speed. So that's a pretty unbelievable weapon. These guys had shields that gods couldn't break through with their hands. That stuff was never utilized around the world. They didn't have access to this stuff. They only use it in this small Middle Eastern country. And everybody knows the country exists. It's not like vibranium that's being used in Wakanda, a place that people don't know anything about. This Kondak place, everybody knows about. And they would all know that, well, in this poor area, these people are flying around on hover jets that can move at the speed of light. Maybe we should use that shit too. Batman didn't utilize any of that technology. Bruce Wayne didn't think, let me go and buy some of that technology from these guys. I can help this country financially, and I can get some kick-ass weapons. But no, only a small group of people within this country were utilizing this unbelievably powerful next generation technology. That shit didn't make any sense. All this stuff that's not making sense when you're adding this into this already existing world. Why didn't Superman intervene at all? Superman exists. He shows up at the end. Why didn't he intervene? When you go into the skateboarder kid's room, he's got pictures of all the heroes up. But none of the heroes ever intervened. Wonder Woman didn't try to intervene. Superman never said, well, there's some shit going on in this country. Let me try to intervene. Why not? It didn't make any sense. Then you got this Justice Society. The Justice Society exists, but again, where were they during certain events? This powerful team with an invincible flying man that can generate weapons at will. I don't even know if this guy had a mace that turned into an axe. Magically, he had magic metal wings. So you had a magic metal wing Hawkman guy, and then you had a wizard. You had a guy who could use magic. What happened when Steppenwolf came to Earth? Were these guys on vacation? Where were they when Steppenwolf was there and all these parademons were flying around? What happened? Why didn't these guys join forces and say, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, we're here to lend a hand. We're the Justice Society. Our job is to protect humanity. We have a jet that flies at super speed and we can use magic. Let's help in some way. Where were they? Were they at a conference? All the shit that was happening when Steppenwolf was there took place over the course of several days or weeks? And it's not like it happened all in one day. This was like a world-altering event. They didn't want to intervene? What happened when Zod was there and he was planting all of these terraform machines all over the globe? It's not like this stuff just happened in Metropolis. It was worldwide. The Justice Society didn't want to help? Where were they? What were they doing? These people with these stories, I talked about this in the Kenobi show, where they make Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi so powerful that they are throwing mountains into orbit. They're so powerful in the Force that they can do almost anything. Yet, in the trilogy, the first trilogy, and in the prequels, they didn't have that kind of power. So when you're writing, you got to pay attention to everything around this story, and pay attention to all these other things that have already transpired, and write properly. Use your brain. Why would this Justice Society, which has one of the most powerful humans on the planet, Dr. Fate, where were they when all of these catastrophic things were going on? That were going on, again, let's say Batman v Superman, maybe they didn't intervene then. That kind of happened all over the course of one night. And, when the shitty version of Doomsday came out, and it happened in Metropolis. So maybe they didn't know about it, and by the time they found out about it, it was already taken care of. Maybe. But these other stories, the Justice League story and the fuck was the other story? The Justice League story, I'm already forgetting it, and the Man of Steel story, where things are happening around the whole globe. Where was the Justice Society? Why didn't Amanda Waller intervene then? This guy, Black Adam, comes out of the ground, and then what was it, like the same fucking day Amanda Waller dispatched the Justice Society to go stop him? What happened when Zod was there? What was Amanda Waller doing? Was she masturbating in a closet? What happened when when Steppenwolf came? What was going on at that point? It's so stupid. I don't get this stupid shit. What happened when, now that I think about it, what happened when Darkseid came to Earth all those centuries ago? What were these wizards doing that were just giving out powers to people? You got a cabal of wizards just giving out power to people, and you got shit happening in the world. Where are these wizards? Were they on vacation? Did they go through a wardrobe and wind up in Narnia and they got lost? Where were these wizards at that time to just be giving powers out to little kids? Hey, just say this word and lightning's gonna hit you and you can stop all of this stuff. You can help stop these people. And if they're giving out powers to multiple people because they gave it to This to the I don't even know this guy's name. Teth Adam and his to Teth Adam's kid, he still had the power, and they gave it to Billy. That means they can give it to multiple people. Why didn't the wizards just be granting powers to a bunch of people and say, go stop this alien Darkseid who's trying to destroy the Earth? What? What's going on? Now, I know in the comic books, all this stuff kind of happens simultaneously. I know in comic books it doesn't make sense, but you're making this movie and you're trying to tie in this whole universe. You got to make it so that it makes sense. You got to use some kind of logic. What else did I have here? What else? Superman, Justice Society. And the Justice Society, I think they were talking about issues that they had dealt with in the past because they're a team that has experience fighting together. But what threats were they facing before this? We never seen or even heard about them before. Don't you think Batman or Clark Kent would have been talking about wizards? A wizard exists. There's a wizard with a golden helmet that fights evil. Why didn't they mention that? They didn't mention. What they should have did in this movie is make it so that this Justice Society is just brand new. They're brand new. Amanda Waller formed them after the events of the Justice League thing, just in case a threat shows up, and then she dispatches this team because this is a new threat. This new team because there's a new threat. That would have made more sense. But these writers are so busy sucking each other's dicks and drinking semen shakes that I don't know. I like the fact that that we finally kind of got like a story. I mean, it's what is it? Kondak? It's not a real place, but it takes place within a Middle Eastern type country. You had a lot of Middle Eastern extras there. It's nice to have like a Middle Eastern story where they have like a hero for them, because that's something we never see. So I like seeing that. I wanted to give credit there. There were action sequences were nice. There were action sequences when Black Adam in the beginning, when he came out and he's just wrecking shit and he's killing people, that was done very well. And The Rock looked right at home in those scenes. I was like, well, that's why they picked him. That was a smart choice. So I did like that, and I want to give credit where credit's due. There were a lot of sequences that looked really good. The movie looked really good. Again, that's not a big deal to me anymore because it's easy to do that now. As long as you pay the money, invest the money, you can hire people that will do it for you. But yeah, some of the action sequences were really nice. Towards the end, they started to become really generic and stupid. Dumb stuff was happening. Some guy was on a hover bike flying away from Black Adam, and Black Adam, they've already established, can move at super speed. He has super speed. He like teleports practically to other areas. He's so fast. And there's a bike that he's chasing, and the bike is outrunning him, which would mean the bike, and he's desperately trying to get to them, so he's not going to be moving slow. He's going to be moving as fast as he can. And the bike's outrunning him, which means the bike's moving at the speed of sound or speed of light or whatever. Then the bike crashes, hits the ground, and the pilot survives. Do you know what would happen if you were riding on a bicycle that was moving at the speed of light, and then you just hit a wall, the tire hit a brick or something in the street, and you went flying off? You would turn into jelly. You would turn into paste. This guy survived. So there were stupid things starting to happen in the story, that the action sequences, they started to get just generic and stupid. They got this major villain named Sabak or Sabak or Shabbat or whatever this guy's name is, and I don't know who this character is because I'm not a big Black Adam or Captain Marvel fan, so I don't really know too much about them. And to all the people asking me, Captain Marvel, I'm hoping nobody's asking that. But to all the people asking that, the character Shazam, his name is Captain Marvel. That's his name, Captain Marvel. Billy turns into Captain Marvel by saying the word Shazam. He's not Shazam. They kind of changed that a little bit later because Captain Marvel from Marvel started becoming a bigger thing. And so they kind of, I guess, pulled back because Captain Marvel in DC versus Captain Marvel in Marvel. I don't know. But they pulled back and they started calling him Shazam. His name's Captain Marvel, and I'm going to stick with that because that's the character I knew growing up. Shit. What was I saying? God damn it. I don't remember. But I was talking about the action sequences starting to get worse in the story. Um, oh, damn, I actually forgot what I was talking about. Some of a bitch. Oh, the Sabak guy. So Shabak was is like this minor villain. I had to look it up and I was like, oh, this is like a minor villain. They don't even have a fucking picture of him readily available, which means he's not that big of a deal. He's not well known. And this minor villain comes out and beats Dr. Fate to death. It's Dr. Fate. Do you know how powerful this fucking guy is? Dr. Fate is insanely fucking powerful. And a no-name villain beats him to death. Why did they have to write that into the story? And then he beats him to death, the helmet falls off, but the helmet doesn't disappear until after the Black Hawkman uses it. So you got your stupid, shitty, generic villain. You wouldn't have to do that if you just wrote a proper story. You weren't being greedy and just trying to pump out pieces of content one after the other. If you made a good story, you would have something really good. You'd have a shitty Captain Marvel movie, fine, but then you could have done a Captain Marvel sequel that kind of went into the background of Black Adam, and then they meet towards the middle of the movie, and then it's a Black Adam versus Captain Marvel movie, like it's supposed to be. Make him Captain Marvel's villain, the way he's supposed to be. Now that you decided to make this generic, stupid anti-hero movie, now you gotta create all this stupid shit. You gotta make a Black Hawkman. You have to power down Dr. Fate, because you're just trying to throw people in there to put people in the seats, but you're not doing the characters justice because you don't give a fuck. You're just trying to get people in the seats. Then you got this Black Tornado Girl and this Ant-Man ripoff character that are just generic, boring, irrelevant characters. That girl that played the Black Volcano Tornado thing, that character was so irrelevant that if they removed her from the scene, just edited her out, and even left the speaking lines of the people that were interacting with her, so you're watching it and you're like, who are they talking to? There's nobody there. It wouldn't have made a difference. She was so irrelevant, you could have just wiped her out of the scene, kept the speaking lines the same, and only issue people would have had is, who are they talking to? I don't understand. But it wouldn't hurt the movie. That's how irrelevant she was. The irrelevant the reject. What the fuck? The reject Ant-Man character that was just an annoyance and a stupid character. Why would you bring this guy along on the team? This team is going out to take on a god, and they haven't even trained with each other yet. They don't know how to fight together. They don't know what use this expanding guy has because he served no purpose. He didn't have any real use. Oh my God, Jesus. So these people don't even know how to fight together. So they got irrelevant characters in there. They got a Middle Eastern Lara Croft. Jesus fucking Christ. And what I didn't get is these people have been occupied by this force, these people of Kandak. Why didn't they call Black Adam before? If they know that these gods exist and they know they can call him, they never got together as a people and tried to call him before? What the fuck? It's not like they did a lot of work to find this place. They just drove to a hill, went into a mountain, and there was a floating crown was there. Nobody else knew about. No one around the world knew about this. There weren't archaeologists that knew about this. It's not like they showed them going on a trek for weeks, or even days, or even they just drove, got in a van, took a little day trip. It didn't even take them half a day. They got to this little hill, parked the van, walked up the hill, and they walked into a cave, and the shit was just sitting right there. Nobody interacted with this stuff before. None of these people thought, look, let's call this Seth Adam character to help make us even just to make us a powerful nation, even before they were occupied. We live in the desert. We live like peasants and poor folk. We have a god that we may be able to get to serve us or to help us in some way. They never thought of that shit before. I This shit is so dumb. Then when she summons Seth Adam and his god comes out of the ground and these guys are unloading assault rifle ammunition into his chest and he's throwing people around like rag dolls and zipping around the room at super speeds, the guy gets on his walkie-talkie and says, "We need backup." For what? What's the backup gonna do that you haven't done? Are you calling in the Hulk? If not, who the fuck are you calling? Wouldn't you just say, "Everybody, get the fuck out of here and run"? Fall back, pull back, evacuate, stand down. Calling for backup? The fuck are they calling for backup for? We need more guns to just bounce more bullets off of this guy's chest. Oh, God. What else did I have? I got like a little list here. There was one scene that just... So, Seth Adam is in this kid's house, right? And he breaks through the wall into the living room, and that comedian guy, his uncle, is sitting on the couch watching a Western. And Seth Adam looks at the Rock. Rock looks at the TV, and he sees what we know to be a quick draw scene. Now, he doesn't get to see the whole scene because he zaps the TV and breaks the television. So he doesn't see what happens. But later on, like a few minutes later, a couple minutes later, he's in an encounter with like a bunch of guys and he mimics what he saw on the television, which is like a quick draw thing. But he didn't see the quick draw. He just saw a man put his hand to his side. Did he know what was going to happen? Or are the writers so fucking stupid and lazy that they wrote that scene in saying, well, the audience will know it's quick draw. Yeah, we know what a quick draw is. And a showdown and a shootout is. We know what that is. This Seth Adam character doesn't know what that is. So he wouldn't know to do that, to mimic it later on, because he didn't see the scene to completion. It's these stupid little things, stupid big things. It's like everything in these stories are just filled with stupidity. It doesn't make any sense. Hawkman versus Black fucking Adam. Black Adam can stand toe-to-toe with Superman, and Hawkman is fighting him. I'm starting to think that's why they made Hawkman black, is because they didn't want a white hero getting his ass whooped by this half-black wrestler guy. They didn't want The Rock just beating up. I'm assuming. That's the only, because why did you make Hawkman black? He's never been black. He's white. So you're just swapping races again because you're too lazy. You're trying to just appease people. You could have... I'm sure there's other characters you could have put in. Maybe you could have done... just put Mr. Terrific in there. You could have put Mr. Terrific in the story, and maybe that would have worked. You have... hold on. You have these black heroes that exist. Just... If you're making a hero that... a vast majority of the audience haven't seen before, then just pick one. There's a good number. There's a few of them that you could pick from DC. You don't have to swap characters. Stop being lazy. So you have Black Hawkman in there fighting Black Adam. And the fight shouldn't have taken as long as it did. And then Black Adam at the end... I don't even know what happened. At first he was like, I'm not going to surrender to you people. What the fuck would I do that for? I just woke up. And then like a second later, he decides, you know what? I'm going to surrender. I'm going to give up all my powers. I have the power of a god. I'm going to give that up. And yeah, you could put me in prison. Forever. Just put me in prison for the rest of my life, because this isn't like a judicial system where they're like, you get 10 years to think about what you've done. No, they're just going to take away his powers, and then he's just going to sit in a pod forever until the power runs out. So he just said, you know what? I just decided I'm gonna give all that up, and you can put me in prison forever. Who would do that? What there's these people don't write stories where this kind of stuff would make sense, and it shows, and it makes the story weaker as a result. That little stuff like that doesn't make sense. And then just the generic comedy that was dumb. You got I forget this guy's name. There's this comedian named Muhammad something. He has he's I guess he has some stand-ups or something like that people like. He was in this, and he's the kid's uncle. At one point, he gets shot in the stomach, and he's left on the ground. I think they don't take him to you don't see him go to the hospital. But then, like, the same day or the next day, this guy's fighting zombies with a stick and killing them. This guy just had this guy's a bullet wound in his gut. And then, like, less than 24 hours later, he's okay. Fucking Christ. The next day, he's just fine. Gets up and I try to give these people a pass because I'm like, well, this is, it's a superhero movie, and I'm an adult now. I'm a full adult now. Old man, practically. And they're not making these stories for me. They're making them for kids. But then I think back to movies I watched as a kid, and they didn't have just stupid, nonsensical, dumbass shit like that. Somebody gets shot in the stomach, and then they're immediately fighting. I mean, it's not like he showed up acting like he was weaker or that he was hurt. He showed up like nothing happened. He showed up like he stubbed his toe in the previous scene, and now the pain went away. I mean, he's just making jokes, jumps out of the van, pulls out a stick, starts beating things up. It's just this kind of, we had stupid stuff in movies, obviously, when I was little. But it tended to not be just complete, like, just stupidity. Like, illogical stupidity and nonsense. And that's what you're seeing in a lot of these movies now. So the movie, the movie was bad, it was a joke, and it was a waste of a good opportunity. Because now, I don't know if they're going to use him again. I hope they do. But now you don't have The Rock as Black Adam, which he was the standout thing of the movie. If you didn't have all that other stupid shit around him, and you wrote a good story that made him an actual villain, because he looked like a fucking threat. I mean, The Rock is huge. He's bald, and he looks like he will fuck shit up. So he looks like an actual threat. He would have made a great villain to that comical Captain Marvel character that they had. And then Dr. Fate. You should have introduced it's Dr. Fate. I can't get over how easily this guy was beaten, and how these people are unable to show wizards doing actual magic. All he did, like, the same shit over and over again. He did, like, this shitty Doctor Strange rip-off glass shield thing, which everyone just keeps fucking copying. God, people just keep copying off of shit that nobody has any originality, and they get paid hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. They're just ripping off the Doctor Strange effects, and then he's just like he just creates duplicates of himself. That's really all he was doing. It's Dr. Fate. This guy has access to magic, meaning I can do almost anything. I can lock you into an Eternian box and then transport you instantly to the bottom of the ocean to buy us some time. There's so much stuff you can do when it's magic, and none of these movies, to be fair, portray it properly. They don't portray it properly with Doctor Strange. That shitty Harry Potter series that I never was able to watch because it was just a movie with little kids, and I'm an adult. I don't watch movies filled with children. I'm not a pedophile. I was an adult, and when it came out, I was in my early. I practically just turned 20, but still, I was still an adult. Even in those shows, they're using little wands, and they're constantly shooting liquid laser beams at each other. It's like, you guys have access to magic. You can do whatever the fuck you want with magic. Especially when you're as accomplished as Dr. Fate. This isn't like some amateur apprentice. It's Dr. Fate. This guy should be able to to do anything. Transport you into the fucking sun if he wanted to. Transport you into orbit. Jesus Christ. There was one nice thing that they did where they made him, he changed the world and he made it look like The Rock was in back home. It looked like he had transported back home. And it kind of threw him off for a bit. But other than that, everything was exactly the same. I'm using glass-looking walls to block things. And then I'm going to duplicate myself. And then the duplicates all have super strength. And the copies actually are stronger than actual Dr. Fate, physical strength. So they didn't utilize him properly, and then he gets beaten to death at the end, very easily by this Sabak character who's a minor villain in the DC universe. And why the fuck would Dr. Fate be working for Amanda Waller? Jesus Christ. I just finished watching it. This fucking kid with the skateboard, can't even use that word, I'm sorry. This little kid on the skateboard, an annoying, stupid kid who gets on his skateboard and moves it. He would move the skateboard like 2 feet and then get off. I won't say, kid, stay off the fucking skateboard and just run. You can move faster by running. Put the skateboard down. 1 foot, 2 foot, get off the skateboard and pick it back up and then keep walking. Why do you have a skateboard? Who uses skateboards anymore? I'm surprised his mother didn't come out with a pair of rollerblades. Come on, son. Let's shred this. What else? I think that was it. The only good things about the movie, again, is The Rock did a great job as Black Adam. His lines were good. They had some bad jokes with him, but they did have a good number of decent him and Dr. Fate being on screen at the same time. I think that was the best part of the movie. Them being together and make the little joke about sarcasm. That stuff was kind of cool. But other than that, you had some bad jokes that they shouldn't have given him. But all in all, I'm trying to think of the good stuff. The Rock as Black Adam, that was an actual good choice. The costume looked good. The costumes looked good. Dr. Fate's costume looked unbelievably good. Hawkman's costume looked really good too. I liked the way that they made him look. He didn't look comical. They just fucked up by not just giving him wings. Hawkman just has wings. He doesn't have... I don't even know what that shit would be called. This guy's wings just disappeared. He didn't even have like a pack on his back that they folded into. They just were not there. And then when he needed them to be, they just appeared out of thin air. I guess they were supposed to be nanotechnology. Jesus Christ. Nanotechnology, it still is a form of mass. It still has to accumulate somewhere. These fucking people. Nanobots aren't magic. They're still small robots, technically, or theoretically, that are supposed to come together to make something big. But when they disconnect from each other, they still form a mass. They don't just turn into dust and float away and then just float back to you when you call on them. They're still attached to you. So you would still, if the wings grow to that shape, you would still see a comparable shape of something on his back when the nanobites fold in on each other, because they still have their own, they still fill up their own space. There's still the little devices, a lot of them. They're little, but when you put them all together, there's a lot of them, and you would see a mass of them somewhere. It would look like a backpack or something. Not just they disappear into his... they go into his skin? So, Hawkman looked good, but the way they made him operate just didn't make any sense. I think his hammer, his mace would just... I think it would disappear when he didn't need it. Was this magic too? So the characters look good, other than Reject Ant-Man and the Black Tornado Girl. Those characters look stupid. They were irrelevant. Their lines were dumb. They kind of did some kind of bullshit romance thing between them that didn't fit, didn't belong, didn't need to be there, and didn't go anywhere. So that was just a waste. Did they forget to finish that thread? Was that arc never realized? They said, oh, shit, I already handed in the script. Fuck, I forgot about... I wanted them to have a brutal sex scene on the roof somewhere. Oh, well, those characters were irrelevant and they looked stupid. And then... I don't know. Everything... the only good things about it were the costume design and the beginning to mid action scenes in the movie. After a while, again, they started to become stale and annoying and regular and stupid. But yeah, I'm trying to think of good things. I can't think of too much more. This was just another failure. Just somebody trying to create content. It's just an investment. That's what people have to realize. These guys invest in properties and they try to make a quick return. Let's see if this movie made a quick return. If it made any money. I don't know how much money. What is it? You gotta like make more than double what the budget is in order to make a profit. So 230 million was the budget. 190 to 230. So let's break it in the middle and say 210. So they would need to make at least 420, I believe, to make a profit, and they made less than 390 million. So I don't know. Maybe they are making money that I just don't know about because I don't know their finances. I don't know how much they have to spend on marketing, all that stuff. Who knows what they're making because they keep doing this. So unless these people are insane, then I don't know. Because they're investing in these properties. You spend this money into the budget for this particular film. You're supposed to make a profit. But they don't follow what people are asking for. It's like if you have a customer base you're trying to sell to, if they're telling you, I want this, this, and this, don't just say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that, that, and that. Why would you do that? You want me to give you my money. I'm asking you for something. Why would you give me something different? I don't understand that. So, I don't know why these movies are being made. This was a waste. I would say don't go see it, but you can. It's not in the movies anymore, probably. If you can see it for free, don't waste your time. Really, you don't waste. You can go on YouTube and find a video of Black Adam doing something, and you'll be able to see what it looked like. Other than that, it's not really that relevant. This guy, Black Adam, his son is the one that gets the power, and then the son transfers his power to his dad in order to save his dad's life. His dad, I don't know how long he had the powers, but I don't think he had the powers that long. And then when he gets transported to the present day, or he wakes up after being in prison, he's just like a master at the powers. It felt like he just got the powers, so it felt weird that he had become a master by the time he woke up in the present world. He should have still been trying to flesh them out or feel out, well, how do I do this? How does this work? And I don't know. Maybe it was magic, so maybe it does something to his mind to make him know what to do. I don't know. Either way, don't see this movie. Don't waste your time. And you got to send a message to these people that you keep making shit. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know how many more messages people could send to these production teams before they stop making shit. You should have just used Black Adam and made him a villain. In this new DC thing that's happening, I'm so happy that it's restarted. I guess I'm not happy because I'm getting too old to really give a shit anymore, and I know they're gonna fuck up anyway. But you're gonna do this new thing, recast everybody, get some new writers. Please, God, get some new writers. Make Black Adam a villain. Make what the fuck is that guy's name that plays Aquaman? Yeah, Jason Momoa. Get Jason Momoa to be Lobo instead of Aquaman. Make Aquaman blonde haired. There's no reason to change the characters. That's why you're failing. Stop making changes to properties that have been existing for almost a century at this point and have been pulling in money and fans. It works because it works. It works because it has a certain formula. Follow that shit and you'll make money. Don't follow it and you get Black Adam.